Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are going to be taking a look at what I think is the best Civivi to come out so far this year. Now, granted, I realize the year is still young, but hey, you gotta start somewhere, and this was a really good start. Technically not the exact start, because I've already looked at a few Civivis, but this one's my favorite one so far. And what we're talking about here is the Civivi Sendy. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 6.52 inches, a blade length of 2.83 inches, and a blade thickness at a nice and thin 90 thousandths blade stock with a blade material of Nitro V. And we have this, so this version here is a drop point style blade, but there's also a spay point blade, which is, I think, maybe the hot ticket. That seems to be the better seller of the two, which I find kind of ironic because, well, we'll get into that in just a second. But we have a flat grind, a handle length coming in at 3.68 inches, and a handle thickness at 480 thousandths. Handle material on this particular version here is Gaborsia wood, but there are other handle material options. I believe G10 is the other one. I don't know if there's my card up, but I know there's some G10 options. We have a liner lock locking mechanism with a user of a right or left hand tip up carry, a weight coming in at 2.39 ounces, designed by the one and only Ben Peterson of NAFCO, and a price of a very reasonable $65.79. Not too bad at all in the price category. And let's take a look at the size category and see how it lines up with some other knives. Let's start with some other Ben Peterson designs. Here we have the NAFCO Lander, as well as the Civivi Baby Banter, one of the best fifth pocket knives of all time. It is fantastic. And there you go. As you can see, longer than the Baby Banter, and really just about the same as the Lander, just a hair longer than the Lander. And a couple more for you here. We have a classic, the Civivi Elementum. And let's bring out one more here. And you can probably just expect this from now on, but I'm going to be using my knife in the size comparisons. This here is the Vosteed Thornton. I mean, come on, did you guys really think I wasn't going to start using this in size comparisons? There is the Thornton in line with it as well, and as you can see, much shorter than the Thornton and a little shorter than the Elementum. So there's that, and let's get talking about this knife and why I like it so much. There's a lot of very simple things that I really like about this knife, but there's also a couple other very handy things that this knife has that damn near every other knife does not have. But first, let's look at the blade, and that is a rather basic blade. It's about as simple of a drop point as you can get. It's kind of like a slip joint made modern flipper, and I don't hate that. I actually love that. There's a lot of slip joints I've seen that I was like, you know what, I like that. I wish it was a locking knife. You know, I like slip joints. Jack Wolf Knives has really converted me to really liking slip joints. But if I had to pick one, I would still go with a locking knife at the end of the day if I was only to carry one. But this is a really nice slicey drop point blade. You have that full flat grind, behind the edge reading at 14 thousandths, and with that 90 thousandths thick blade stock, this is a very nice and slicey EDC blade, and also something that's, again, it's very simple, very classy. You could carry this to the office or church or anywhere you go where you don't want to have, something big and something more than what this is, which is a very simple, very people-friendly knife. And it has a lot of benefits to it, a lot of fidget factor in this guy. Excellent jimping up here on the spine, and a very, very nice plunge grind down there, nice and thin. This thing is a nice little slicer here. I also have a little jimping down there too, which also makes very nice for kind of that little really aggressive kind of like pinch grip there, to where even if you don't have your fingers up here and you're just kind of holding down here, you get some really nice traction with just that little bit of jimping down there, because it is a rather tacky, grippy jimping. I really do like that. Now, going into the handle, I gotta say, sometimes wood really works for me. Sometimes it's a fail. This is one that really works, and it's pretty easy to see why it works. Again, we're talking like a classic knife made modern. So you get into classic look and shape like this, I mean, wood just works. It looks really good. It feels really good. I know it's a rather neutral handle, but it is slightly contoured Gaborsha. And again, you have that really, really nice grain on there. And I think the fact that it gets just a little wider as you move down the handle, that really does help the back of the knife sit well in your hand. And yeah, no issues in terms of ergos on this guy. Obviously, it's nothing like a Shaman or anything like that, but for as simple as it does feel rather good. You have a pretty basic clip here that you see on most of Ben's designs. I believe you have the exact same thing. Let's see here. I believe so, yeah. Pretty much the same thing you see on just about all of Ben's designs. And there's nothing wrong with it, because when you find something that works, that's a good thing. It's hard to go away from things that work, and there was no reason to go away from it here. Nice ultra deep carry clip, gonna disappear in the pocket. That's always a good thing. And what this knife has, like I said before, that a lot of knives don't have, back in here you have tweezers, and you have, whoop, let's get it out here. There we go. A toothpick. Now, this is just me. This is personally coming from my experience. I don't know if I've ever really used the toothpick that comes in a knife. Even like with the Swiss Army pocket knife. I don't know if it's just something weird that like I wouldn't do it, but I tell you what, this is definitely this is a lot more of a finer tip to where you really could get in there. There's just something about like metal getting on my teeth, and it makes me cringe just thinking about it. But there's also a lot of other things you could do with this too. Like if you have gunk somewhere, you could clean gunk out with this. Like even your knife, if your knife gets all clean, nasty and gunky, you could, clean out crevices and corners. So there's a lot more use to this than just the toothpick. I probably wouldn't use it as a toothpick just because I'm really weird like that, and it really bothers me when I touch my teeth with metal. Oh, it drives me crazy. But now these tweezers, that's another thing. I would use these tweezers all day. Very nice tweezers too. Very gets in there. You can get all the little things out, and I feel like it's always a good thing to have tweezers with you, because when you get a splinter in your hand, it's like, gosh dang it. It's like, I don't know about you guys, but I get the urge of just like, oh, I gotta get it out. I gotta get it out right freaking now. I can't wait an hour. It needs to be out. So it's nice to have that. So two very handy tools in there. And then you get to the action. In this flipper here, now I'm going to be completely honest. When I first saw this flipper, I was looking at it and I was like, okay, it's got that really nice Civivi jimping that I know is going to be good. But I'm like, man, that's pointy. That's really, really pointy. I don't know what Ben was really thinking there, but all I had to do was this. And I said, okay, yep, he knew exactly what he was doing, because I thought for sure that this was going to be somewhat of an irritation point, some type of a hot spot. I thought it would start to really annoy me. And even if I use a little pressure, it really doesn't. Yes, you can feel kind of like a more of a point. So like if you go to flip any other knife that has a flipper, let's bring the Elementum back in here. Obviously, you're feeling two completely different things. But I thought this was going to feel like pushing down on a pin, like a pinhead, but it does not. I mean, it is... I could flip this all day, every day, and I don't think I would have any real irritation. And you can do any part of your finger too. You can kind of go back here where there's kind of more the fatty, meaty part of your finger, and it's not really a bad irritation. If you use the tip of your finger, it's like zero issue whatsoever. So it all depends on like how you like to use a flipper, but I have found it to be not bothersome whatsoever. And the action is fantastic. This thing almost feels like assisted, because when you push it out or when you flip it out, it's out in a heartbeat. And the really fidgety aspect of this knife, that I really struggle to do this on a lot of knives. Some people can do it very easily. I really, really struggle doing the lighter flip. Not with this knife. This is the easiest knife by far. And I mean this, out of every knife I've ever handled, this is the easiest knife to do that lighter flip. And a lot of it has to do with, one, the nice snappy action, especially that flipper tab design has a lot to do with it, but also this nice ultra deep carry clip that's wide enough, sticks out enough, and is at the perfect location on this handle to where I just kind of hold it like that and boom, pop it out. So fun. There is something that is extra fidgety about the lighter flip that is just really, really fun to do. Once I figured this out, one, I was shocked at how easy I could do it, and two, I couldn't stop. It was just very, very fun, very enjoyable, and that's pretty much what this knife is in general. It is an excellent option for someone wanting a simple or traditional looking knife made modern with a spin and a little bit of fidgety action. This is a great little piece. And again, for $65.79, I mean, there's no way you can go wrong with it. I'm also noticing how well this Gaborsha wood is patinaing up. As you can see, some of the oils in my hand are kind of starting to soak in. Looking really, really good there. And you could always speed that up with some mineral oil if you didn't want to wait. But overall, at the end of the day, this is one darn good knife. The Civivi Sendy. Civivi is off to a great start. Mr. Peterson himself and Navco is off to a great start for the year, and I cannot wait to see what they have in store for the rest of 2024. But for today, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.